This is a solid part of the 15 minutes you can cut right here.
Yeah, exactly. Makes it easy for me. Rhyme or free, it doesn't matter to me. It's my bad poetry. Good day, and welcome to My Bad Poetry, a podcast where we take a deep dive into our poems from youth, yesteryear, or even yesterday, always asking the question, why in the world did I write this? I'm Aaron.
And I'm Dave.
And today we have with us the gentleman who once tried to romanticize last-minute roses from a gas station, the co-founder of NAWP, otherwise known as NOP, and the brand newly published author of The Size of the Horizon, or I Explained Everything to the Trees, Mitch Nobis. Welcome back to My Bad Poetry.
Thank you, Aaron and Dave. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to do a repeat appearance.
Yeah, it's a worthy event. You got a new book. It dropped yesterday?
Tuesday, technically.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That's
Thank
so
you.
cool. I know how long you've been working around manuscripts, even from when you were on. That was a goal of yours. And so, how exciting. You want to tell us about this, The Size of the Horizon, or I Explained Everything to the Trees?
Sure. I think last time I was on, I probably already had all three. So I have three poetry manuscripts that I was shopping for a while. And I could fill the entire hour just talking about the history of how this all happened, right?
Sure.
Much like you guys, I've been writing since, forever. Not all the way back to high school. I don't have a wolf journal, unfortunately.
Ah, darn.
But I did start in college. So my I said I was going to give you the short version. So in college, in 1992, no, I started writing in college, like margin notes when I was in lectures, bored about like the first novel ever written, which I'm glad I learned about, but like I'm also glad I was scribbling bad poetry in the margins at
Sure.
the same.
Hmm.
And then, I became a high school English teacher, which is essentially like three full-time jobs in one, right? Like doing the prep work, doing the grading, doing the actual teaching. Like those could all be a
Yeah.
full-time job.
Yeah.
So I would write like when my students were writing, when I could get away with it. Like sometimes you have to walk around the room and like, turn off a kid's cell phone for them and things like that. But when I could write, I
Yeah.
would write. And so I guess in hindsight, like 2 decades, give or take, I was just compiling rough draft after rough draft. And then things kind of shifted a little bit, and I'm a virtual learning manager kind of now. It's not the official title, but like I'm not in active instruction and haven't been for, we're getting close to a decade-ish now, like 8 years or so. So long story short, I hit this point in my life where I could go back to all those first drafts and take them seriously and start to work on it and revise and refine the stuff. Fast forward, I ended up with three poetry manuscripts. The oldest one I had shopped a lot. And then a couple of years ago, I really took a hatchet to it because honestly, like half of that book could have been on this show. Like, they weren't great. And they
Sure.
weren't great. 10 years ago, I thought they were good, and they would have been bad for like a 22-year-old's first book. But the way my writing career has gone, I'm not a 22-year debut author, So, I chopped a bunch and reworked it. So the heart of this manuscript is actually still my first manuscript from 10-ish years ago,
Wow.
but massively updated.
That-
Massively updated. Like kind of how like I'm in Metro Detroit, right? So guys will take cool old cars and like totally just keep the skeleton, but like redo everything else on that. Like the frame of this book is still there with a lot of newer poems for, rims and windshield wipers. I'm not sure where this analogy is going.
I love it. It's great. It's good. The title itself,
Yeah.
it's a long one.
So I feel like, the way that the writing world works now, most of us find out about each other and read each other's stuff via the internet and social
Sure.
media. So folks who know me honestly, if you listen to this, you probably know me through there, right? Like probably how we're all landing at each other's podcasts. So you won't be too surprised to find out that I am a bit of a smart aleck here and there. And so, like I said, the heart of this manuscript is pretty old. The version that's getting published, these editors might have been the only ones to ever even see, like the most recent
Oh,
revisions.
wow.
I might not have sent to anybody else, but the old version, like it was rejected many times.
Mhm.
I would joke for a while that like maybe my first manuscript will never be a book, and it's already had its readership of several hundred people. They were just all editors at presses who said nothing. And there's legit some truth in that. Like I refuse to add up how much I spent in submission fees.
Oof.
It was copious. And so along the way, the title changed a number of times. Again, high school teacher, every June, I would kind of open it back up and tinker with it, pull in some poems, add in some new ones, and it would kind of change the identity of the book each time. And then, of course, after doing that a number of times, like I saw why it was getting rejected. Like if you pull things apart and just tinker too many times, it loses kind of its soul a little bit. You know, it becomes a bit of a Frankenstein monster instead of having a cohesive energy. And so this most recent time I tore it down and redid it. Like it was really with a focus of like helping it flow and making sure the pieces fit together and sequence after each other well and things like that. And so this is kind of a shoddy answer to the question, but The Size of the Horizon had been one of the working titles all along. And I would say one of those kind of, I don't, it's not one of those cohesive books where it's all on one theme, but it does have a running thread of trees. And it's not necessarily smart alecky. It feels smart alecky to me because I know the history that this thing has had probably 10 titles.
No.
And so part of it was sort of like I'm confessing that reality, that truth to the trees. Because also for many years there, I was making jokes that like, maybe I'll just publish this by leaving a page out for the ravens every day. I don't know why I said it. I'm looking at a picture right here. There's a raven, but we're crows in Michigan. Like maybe the crows will be my readership. So it's kind of like it's got this tree vibe. And I used to make jokes like maybe the trees are the readership. So it was the subtitle, kind of whatever you want to call that, the second half. It was kind of just for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know?
That's perfect.
Yeah, it is what it is. It works or it doesn't. And I like it for better or for worse.
I assumed that it was because of how many copies it's going to sell. You had to explain to the trees why you were killing them all. Like, I just assumed.
Have you seen sales numbers for poetry books?
Oh, it's booming, right?
There's a sapling out back that's shivering right now. Like, 12 copies are going to come out of me.
Oh, well, I'm sure we'll get into more details about the manuscript and stuff. But to get into the realm of bad poetry, Dave, what have you hastily written for us this week?
This is a poem that I wrote based on last night driving back from vacation with my children. So it's called Riven Driven. Late night, low light, soft strum, gentle hum, kids sleep, no peep, wife dreams, moonbeams. I've got heavy metal, pushing down to the pedal, caffeine to keep me awake, don't want to touch the brake. Car glides, family rides, sleep tight all night. Lullaby, cutie pie, find rest, safe nest. Drums kick from a headphone, breaking out of a tiring drone. I silently sing along, ringing like a noiseless gong. Gentle drive, calm, energized, oxymoronic, semi-comic.
I love it, Dave.
It's a very dumb one. I like it.
I mean, speaking of the Raven, the nonstop rhyme, I like it.
That was good, yeah.
And I only had to look up a couple of words in a rhyming dictionary. And they are probably the most forced of the rhymes, so whatever.
Yeah, there's one with a gong. What was it?
Yeah. Sing along, noiseless gong.
Yeah, okay. That's not as bad as I thought. Okay, nice. So what music were you using to keep you awake there?
I was listening to some anti-fascist pop punk.
Chumbawamba?
That works.
Oh, okay.
No, I've just got a Spotify playlist of anti-fascist pop punk.
Oh, great. Okay, good.
And the kids and my wife were listening to Disney acoustic lullabies.
Yep. Yep.
Very nice.
So I didn't want to listen to that because I was driving for 4.5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there.
Understandable.
No.
Real quick before we move on, though, I got to chime in on Dave's point. Like holler at dads with headphones. I've done the exact same thing. So game recognizes game. Good work. You got
Oh yeah.
Yep. and it's also it's sad. It's good, but more sad. Like how resonant that early '80s punk still is right now. Like I've been
Right?
listening to a lot of Husker Du and stuff like that lately. Like, oh, this still fits.
Yeah. Depressingly so.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. So, anyways,
Mitch, you have brought to the show a poem about trees. And
What? No, that's so surprising.
So I don't know if you want to go with the untitled work that also mentioned trees, or the one that has trees in the title first. But I'll leave it to you. Which poem do you want to share with us first?
I guess that the first one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I did the show once before, so we do have an old poem that a truly old poem.
Yes.
And if we get to that one, we can. But I sent you two that were in a very early version of this manuscript. That's not fair. These two were never in what I considered the manuscript, but they would have been originally drafted around that same time I was referring to a little bit ago, where most of this book was drafted like 15-ish years ago, give or take, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
My children appear in this book many times. They're now 15 and 11, and there's lots of like cute little kid poems in here. Like they'll be furious when people start reading this and ask about them. Like he's in 10th grade now, and there's a poem about him not tying a shoe. Like he won't be happy about that. But these things happen.
Yeah.
And I sent you guys these ones because, as I mentioned, I realized the manuscript had this kind of tree focus, and I was looking back at the stuff I wrote around that time, like, oh my Lord, like 50% of these are about trees. Totally not on purpose. Like, I guess my brand is strong. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this first one is particularly terrible. Did you want anything? I'm sorry. Did you want anything else?
No, this is great. No further context before the poem itself. We will dive in. But if you want to give us the title and then just a clean read, and then we can dissect this thing.
All right. So here's this gem. I hear trees are good metaphors and symbols and such. We're getting the layoff notices soon. I've seen one. They were wrong about pink. Sadly, they're just standard issue letterhead with phrases like unfortunate, budgetary setbacks, and contractual sprinkled throughout. But this morning, Don cut down the dead tree in the courtyard. Seriously, the tree in the heart of the school died this winter. You see, winter is often symbolic of death, and the tree literally died in winter. How terribly figurative. So he cut it down, buzzed with lubed steel, sprayed dust into the air. You see, this tree in the heart of the school died and was cut down at the same time dozens of staff members are getting laid off, which is not unlike killing the heart of the school. I tell you, if somebody goes out there and plants a sapling in the middle of spring's rebirth, I'll have nothing left to write about.
I feel like the metaphor is really there in the way that an air horn is really there.
I feel like it's really there in the way that you say, hey, here it is.
It's you literally call it out twice. Twice.
Yeah.
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
But you say, you see, as if we could not possibly see what you were trying to lay down.
Right? Yeah.
It's almost as if you were not confident enough in the metaphor that makes total sense that, like you say, they're good metaphors. This is a common image. Tree being cut down, winter. But you were like, oh, wait, in case you didn't get it, you see what I'm doing here? Psst. Yeah. But you don't even hyphenate it or anything. You don't offset. It's not. It doesn't seem like a whisper or an inside joke. It's, ooh.
Yeah.
It feels like this was meant to be sent in to the administration to just be like, this is how dumb I think you are, that you would not understand a metaphor if it slapped you in the face and said, I am a metaphor.
I think you might be close to what I was thinking at the time. I mean, it's old. This is one. So, when I knew I was going to be on this again, like when I was looking for, grist for the mill, I felt like it'd be even more fun to find ones that I really didn't even remember I had written. Like they're the ones that like you kind of remember in the back of your head, like, oh, I remember like that was a turning point. That's when I realized I sucked at this or was bad at that. And I thought it'd be even more fun if I liked something that's so bad I never took a second stab at it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was trying to be snarky. Like I think you nailed it. This is based on reality. This is old. This is from 2010, which in Michigan, remember the Great Recession, hit Michigan especially hard. This is the whole like auto bailouts, yada yada. Yeah. I had just gotten married and moved, so we knew that I was going to get laid off because I should also let people know because Michigan has since changed its laws. This wasn't because I was a bad teacher. We used to have a policy like most recent hires are the first ones laid off.
Yep.
So we knew I'd get laid off. It was not. I don't know why I sound angry about it. Like when we moved 2 years before, we knew I was going to get laid off. Like there was no surprises here. Yeah. But I don't know. What would I have been then? In my 30s still, so I guess I still had angry blood, I don't know. And I think I was trying to be snarky. Like, I think the whole, like, here's a metaphor, smack with the 2x4 in the face, was an attempt at snark that absolutely, I mean, it lands as well as a ninth grader trying to write about a broken heart.
Yes.
It just doesn't land. It just looks like a bad poem. It doesn't read a snark at all. It just looks dumb.
Yeah.
I have recently been reading some John Green, who I love. I think he writes really well and I enjoy his writing. But this to me sounds a lot like his, like, I am writing something that is deep, but I'm also writing it so like a middle schooler could understand it. So I have to like really spell it out. I need to lay this out so that you can get this deep thought, but it is like right there on the page. And I really got that at the, so he cut it down, buzzed with lubed steel, because the steel and still and the,
it's the brand. Yeah, we're a podcast, right? Y'all can't see this. It's the brand name of the chainsaw, STIHL, that is pronounced steel. So a short stab at cleverness, I guess.
Yeah, I like it.
A play on words. It's lovely. Yeah. Yeah, it is like, John Green writes more towards the younger, like the YA audience. Yeah. It'd be like if F. Scott Fitzgerald just stopped to explain the green light for a paragraph or two. You see, winter is often symbolic of death.
I mean, Aaron, you like absolutely just stopped me and hammered me in my tracks because like that's open source. What's the word I'm looking for? Like anybody can mess with Great Gatsby now if they want to.
Really?
Yeah, it's public domain.
Public domain. Thank you. Like there is a literal $1 million sitting there waiting for you to rewrite the Great Gatsby as like,
a YA with
as one of those, but like those like the 7th grade style. Like you know how they're like some YA books. I am not crapping on the whole genre. Some YA books are outstanding. Yeah, and literally like would not have been. It's a marketing thing, right? Like they're really books for grown-ups, but they're about a 14-year-old, so we call them YA. And then there are the YA books that are like, here's some starter symbolism.
Yes,
like the training wheels for like literary mechanisms, right? You could absolutely make a killing if you made one of those.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah. Green is also the color of money. Did you know that?
No.
They say yellow is a sign of cowardice.
It's basically Spark Notes, but like dumber.
So this is a Spark Note poem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do wonder sometimes, because like I said, a lot of the first drafts, especially in this era, would have been written while I had a bunch of 9th graders or 10th graders doing their own journaling. So some of these, like this is probably like first half is like during first hours journaling, and then like stanzas 3 and 4 during second hours journaling. Like the journal's only like 5-10 minutes. It's not a huge chunk of time. So I would like kind of scribble notes, and over the course of the day, I might land with a completed rough draft. They usually read more like journals, which I think is a lot of what's going on here. Like this is more like notes for a future poem. Like, hey, you could, but it's like the wrong way, right? Because like good writers never set out be like, here's the symbol I'm going to address in this piece. Like you have the idea and you write the piece, and then you see that like, oh wait, I've kind of got a thing going here, so maybe I'll revise to bring that symbol out a little bit more or clarify it. Like you almost never come up with a good poem if you're like, tree's a symbol. Let's do this. I think all I can say is this would be a 2010-ish, 2009. I don't remember what year exactly. So I guess I think was probably going through 2009 Mitch's head.
Yeah. I mean, even your title kind of says it. I hear trees are good metaphors. Here's some tree thoughts.
Let's try a tree metaphor.
Tree thought. Geez, I probably should have titled this book Tree Thoughts. I also love, I have since refined how I use ampersands, but again, this is all audio. So for the listener, title, I hear trees are good metaphors and symbols and such. I feel it's very important to let you know both of those ands are ampersands.
Yeah.
So there's no like poetic reason. Like now I have like, there is a poetic reason, however you want to interpret that phrase. I feel like a ham even saying it, but like when I use an ampersand, there's a reason for it. There's no reason for those two being ampersand. Like I'm writing poetry. Like that's why those ampersands are there.
I like it.
Yeah.
A good ampersand is great. I really love a good ampersand. Like I'm not a tattoos guy, but if I was gonna be one, like a nice ampersand on the forearm, but that's in the title twice, back to back, with alliteration, mind you, symbols and such.
No.
Oh.
Well, and the and such really carries so much weight with it of just like, I'm not gonna even try and narrow this down. Like just symbols and such and BS and this and that and whatnot.
The whole poem could have just been called And Such.
And such. And such.
Trees and Such by Mitch.
I did like the opening line up until maybe sadly, but we're getting the layoff notices soon. I've seen one. They were wrong about pink. That is an intriguing line. I don't know why. I think it's because it made me stop. Like, oh, the sheets were pink. Oh, did they think pink where it would lessen the blow? Yeah, it makes you think. But then, no.
And they go, yeah, you're not wrong though. I didn't really think about that. Like that is, I mean, it's more back to what we were saying. That's the opening of a YA chapter.
Yeah, no, it is.
Some
it
decent
really is.
narrative building.
Yeah. You're right. That could totally work.
Yeah, and then we get distracted by trees in winter, But
I have this has absolutely nothing. This is absolutely not of importance. But as you were reading those 3 sentences, I think it just dawned on me. I think pink slips are probably back when we had to handwrite everything, and it was in triplicate. Your layoff notice was probably the bottom of the stag was probably white, yellow, pink. So a pink slip was probably the recipient's copy of the layoff paperwork.
Of a triplicate. Wow.
And now we just laser print everything, so it's standard issue letterhead. I am 51 years old and just thought about that as you said that. I mean, I wrote this and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah. Oh, this poem wouldn't even make sense to a younger generation.
No, not.
Pink slips aren't a thing.
Yeah.
Huh. But you know what would make sense? A dying tree.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a strong metaphor, Aaron.
Its roots are deep. Let's move on to Untitled.
I think before I jump into this one, I feel it's important that I let you know that I just threw Untitled on it, so I had a title. This with no title. It was just blank white space. So if you can have Untitled even more than calling something Untitled, that's what this was in the drafts folder.
Nice. Okay.
All right, this one's much shorter. Untitled. The second the snow melted, the neighborhood hung bright flags of spring hung neon eggs in trees in protest to winter. But this is the equivalent of dropping a pound of sugar into a recipe to clobber the palate out of refinement. No, a proud Midwesterner has a refined palate for the grays and browns of March, the infinite shades of meh in which we find the beauty. This is where the uproarious applause goes.
Oh, yes. Clap.
Yeah. I've often heard that winter is a metaphor for death.
Where have I heard that before?
I know I heard it somewhere.
Man.
I was just taking a drink. That almost got a legit take.
Come on!
Well, we're all three proud Midwesterners here. I have to say, I do not like the grays of March.
It's fine that you're wrong, Aaron.
Yeah,
that's okay.
That's fair. I mean, coming from Ohio, maybe Minnesota
that's not
grays.
the Midwest.
Minnesota grays are still rough for me, but
yeah. It makes you appreciate the sunshine, Aaron.
Hey, buddies, I'm in Michigan. We have the literal least amount of sunshine in the Union.
That's amazing.
You're not wrong.
Overcast all the time because of the lakes.
Oh, sure.
They've done studies. Back when we had science, they did studies and proved that.
What is that like?
The 1990s were really cool.
Oh, man. Yeah, I wasted my youth on that decade. Okay, it must have been an early Easter this year.
Yeah, right? Yeah, it must have been.
Yeah, for you to be mentioning neon eggs in March, but...
Yeah.
I mean, Easter doesn't come much earlier than April 1st, so... Anyway, I mean, the stores roll out that stuff way too early anyway.
Well, and we do have some people in the neighborhood who are like super aggressive about wanting to get to spring, so they'll throw up their Easter stuff. Like,
sure, yeah.
The second you take down St. Patty's Shamrock, a neon egg goes up. So it's entirely possible Easter wasn't until late April that year, and folks were still throwing their eggs in the trees.
It was time. It was time. Okay, so what do you think inspired this?
Let me be very clear. So as I already mentioned, these are both like I dug through I have files upon files upon files, right? Like, and I don't do a great job of making it easy to understand what's what.
Okay.
But I have a dead letter office in my Dropbox universe. So I dug through that and I tried to find like just, like in Word, you can see like what date it's from. So I was trying to find stuff from that era. So circa, 10 to 15 years ago, whenever I would have written most of what ended up in this book. Like I said, I don't have any idea why this exists. I think if I had to take a shot, I think this probably is an actual like proud Midwesterner trying to be like, people complain about March, and if you look close, there really are like 1,000 shades of gray, and like there's no flowers yet, there's no nothing, the snow's melting, like that even the snow is gray, like you get those last few chunks in the Kroger parking lot, like where it was a mountain a month ago, and like now they're just kind of gray and cruddy. I think I was probably trying to celebrate that and make fun of those people who put up the neon eggs as soon as they possibly can. So similar to the last one, I think this was a shot at finding meaningfulness via a snarky voice. Just like the other one, I don't think it landed at all. I think it reads like, again, a seventh grader's journal entry. No, that's not fair to seventh graders. Like I have known some very good seventh grade writers who would write this by a mile. So it even repeats like the phrase palette is like in almost two lines in a row. Like there's nothing. Yeah, I don't know. That's my guess. My guess is I was trying to be snarky and defend Midwestern grayness.
Well, and I can agree and understand that, but also if we're talking about like adding a pound of sugar to clobber the palate out of refinement, that is the definition of all Midwestern foods.
That's Midwest casserole. Yeah, that's
like it doesn't have flavor, it has sugar or it has salt. Those are the two options we have.
That's just a Jell-O casserole through and through. So it is strange that you make this knock on Midwestern cuisine at its finest to then proclaim yourself a proud Midwesterner. Just the hypocrisy, Mitch.
I all I can do is apologize. Just own it and say I will do better next time.
Oh.
We all must
Well,
grow.
we know that you will do better because your book came out. So,
You haven't read it yet. You might have this in there. You don't know. I might be hoodwinking you.
Yeah, there you go.
no, I'm just pumped to read it.
When you wrote this, did you put the line break in after spring?
I mean, I have to have, right?
Yeah. Why?
Aaron, you were making an assumption of a level of craft that this poem is not earned.
It's just all the other ones tend to, I mean, like, it has a flow.
Yeah. And my first drafts, like, I honestly, like, because line breaks, good God, poets could talk about line breaks until America is officially not a union anymore, which is to say it might be by the end of this podcast. But
Yeah.
Correct.
we could talk about it forever, right? Like poets and line breaks, that's like baseball nerds and ERAs. Like we could go for years on it, right? And I'm not a huge like my line breaks are a decent amount of gut instinct, but they're definitely gut instinct in my first drafts.
Okay.
I definitely go by feel in the first drafts, and then I'll do more purposeful moves in, by draft 17. Like there's definitely some thought behind where my lines break. In this case, it's like 2 words long. It's the only one that's 2 words long. Like I don't know what's going on of spring. Like, am I trying to be like, hey, spring matters? This is like the dead tree in the last one. Like, have I matured enough that I didn't need to say like, hey, spring is a metaphor, and instead I just put it as like its own line. Like, I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry.
Oh, that makes sense. That's why it's on this show.
We're not on the Poetry Foundation here, are we?
Yeah, no.
No.
Oh, wow. Yeah. The infinite shades of meh in which we find the beauty. You're literally calling it meh.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, shout out to Matthew E. Henry.
Right.
But this is lowercase meh. And
Yeah.
like if you were to say the infinite shades of gray or brown, I mean, the infinite shades of color, but to call it meh and then call it beauty, I don't know. I'm struggling with that.
I think those last 2 lines, well, 2.5, whatever, the infinite shades of meh in which we find the beauty. I think that's the equivalent of like, how like you'll be doing the dishes or something, or people waking up in the middle of the night and grabbing the notebook. Like you have an idea that you want to get down so you don't forget it. I think that last sentence there is like, that's a middle of the night, grab the notebook. I woke up from the dream. I had an idea. And then you wake up in the morning like, that's a crap idea. Like, I think that's that. I think that's the heart of this poem. Where like, hey, a good Midwesterner appreciates 9,000 kinds of gray in March. Write about that. And then this is what I did. Like,
I would give more credit. I think that is just trying to find a new way to say something that's been said a lot. The whole, like, the beauty in mundanity and
Sure.
the beauty of the ordinary. And just trying to find a different way of saying it. I'm not going to say it's a good way of saying it, but it's an attempt at something that is pretty difficult to find. I am physically incapable of ever finding a beautiful way of saying that, but
Well, you can take this one. And this isn't published. It's for the taking.
it is now.
Yeah,
It's on my bed poetry review.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put out a collection someday.
God, that would be awesome.
Oh man. Oh, I do like how this is essentially 2 sentences, the entire poem, and the way in which you capitalized no and then put that comma. It does truly feel like that was the point you were trying to get to.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be. I mean, there's no grand societal statement here. This is pretty clearly I was grouchy about something.
You're being a Grinch about Easter decorations.
Yeah. Nutshell. Yeah.
I must
Nutshell.
stop
This
this.
is me. Like, why do we need neon plastic? Just appreciate the gray. Damn it. Like, yeah. I think that's it. I think that's the whole poem in a
That's the
nutshell.
whole poem. That's
Yeah.
great.
I mean, I think if we were being kind, like
Yeah,
if
we
somebody,
can do
back
that.
when I was a classroom teacher, if somebody turned this into me, I think my response would be, I think you're writing your way into the idea. I'm not sure you're there yet.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be my kind response.
Just needs 30 or 40 levels of revision. That's fine.
Yeah, keep writing. Let me know when you get to page 4. That's probably what you actually mean, and we'll work on just page 4. Like this. This is not anything yet.
Nice. Well, Mitch, we talked so much about your book coming out at the beginning of the show. I did want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about Nop because it is done with another previous guest of the show, Jared Beloff. Is there anything that you guys are working on right now or that you want to mention to fans of the show?
So if anybody is just discovering Nop via this, you'll actually want to head to our YouTube channel. You can just Google not at AWP and you'll find our website, which will then link you to the YouTube channel. We're actually so Jared and I are both teachers, high school teachers, and have discovered that we really can't plan anything for the summers. Summer gets bonkers because our kids are young. And teachers are like, as I said earlier, it's sort of like 3 jobs in one, right? So when you get to your summer, everybody has this romantic vision of teachers having summers off. Like, no, we just cram everything everybody else does whenever they can. We cram it into those 2 months in the summer, like dentists, doctors, fun, like go, like do it all now. So we cannot manage to, we've tried to book readings in July, and we've had to, every time we've tried, it ends up getting rescheduled to the fall anyway. So we take a summer hiatus as teachers. But all this stuff, we had 5 readings, I think, earlier this year. They would all be on our YouTube channel.
Lovely.
So yeah, you can check it out. I should probably give extra backstory just because we call it NOP, N-A-W-P. It is, it started with a joke because Jared and I, both being busy parent teachers, could never go to the AWP Writers Conference. And so online, we would make jokes about attending not at AWP instead. So NAWP. And then imagine my dismay when I talked to some, real writers who do go to AWP and told me that everybody calls it AWP when OP is right there. And I was furious. So we insist on calling it NOP, not NAWP. Why would you do that? It's a word. You're writers, and you're not shouting OP at each other. So we made
I want to see just very serious, deeply thoughtful poets walk on stage and just be like, I'm here for
you get it. 100%.
That's good.
So yeah, so Jared's the smart. You guys have probably picked up on this. Between the two of us, Jared's the smart one. he actually said like, "Hey Mitch, we should make this an actual thing," and so it is. So long story short, if you find our website, which I think is probably just not at awp.com, there'll be links to the readings we have hosted online, and they're fantastic. It's great writers. We did have a good one coming up for June that had to be rescheduled, so I can hype that at a date to be determined in September. We have. I don't want to even name names because I'll forget somebody, but we have 3 tremendous writers we're trying to reschedule with for to read together, and that'll happen in September.
That's awesome.
Find our socials. It's on our socials.
Yeah. You guys are pretty good at promoting it. So yeah. Well, we will need to wrap this up.
Aaron, like a vine going around a tree, we need to wrap this up.
Ooh. Way to go, Dave.
That is what we like to call. So I would say that the vine is kind of like a metaphor for containment. And the tree in this instance is the podcast.
Yeah, so we got to contain the podcast within an hour. And so you see, by wrapping this, we have now shortened our time for Aaron's editing purposes.
To be clear, Mitch, we are not making fun of you. I am doing my best to make fun of Aaron.
Understood. And
Okay, good.
so
My goal is always to make Aaron feel incompetent and like a complete failure.
Yeah.
And I try my best at that one.
Yeah.
that's just friendship.
It is.
Right?
It is. Mitch, before we let you go, we here at My Bad Poetry, we do end each week with the words of a true poet. Not always a published poet, but in this case, a truly published poet. Mitch, how about you share for us another one of your poems that you are indeed proud of?
An actual poem, so to speak.
Yes, yeah, a real one.
All right. I don't know if the mic was live yet or not, but we were talking about parenting earlier. So I will, I have a baseball poem here. So my 15-year-old just wrapped up his last rec league season ever. We'll work on trying to find him like, some other options, but like the rec league only goes through Pony League, ninth grade. He's entering 10th grade. So I'm going to read, I mentioned the kids will be mad at me when they start to hear some of these poems and realize like they're back when they're tiny. It dawned on me earlier. I said I wrote a poem about how he couldn't tie his shoe when he was 7. So let's read that one.
Perfect.
It only seems right. It only seems fair.
Yeah.
So this is called So You'd Better Pay Attention. 7 years old and can't tie his shoe. He grabs his mitt and asks to shag flies. The Little League Championship is on the line tomorrow. Throw grounders now, Dad. He gobbles them up, whips them back, all game face, and dives a day early. He struggles catching to his left, refuses to just open up and stick his mitt out to his left. He tries it at last, and of course it works. His eyes go nova. Again, and I throw it again and again. I don't tell him I'm going to, and I heave one high. Later, I'll tell him that in baseball, you never know where the ball will go, so you have to be ready for anything because you only know that it will be pitched. You have to wait, only knowing that eventually the ball will take flight and cruise like a missile at a first grader. Eventually, it all will take flight and cruise like an asteroid at you. He squinted into the June sun. He parsed cloud and maple leaf and the pinpoint of baseball falling. Period, then iris, then nickel, then baseball. Then a cloud of dust popped from his mitt and drifted away. That one probably stinks too, but I like it better than the other ones.
That
No,
was
that-
a good one.
Oh,
That was a good one.
that was
That
beautiful.
tone of voice. No, that was good.
Yeah, we're sick of this. Having like actual decent writers who know what they're talking about and make us feel feelings with their art. Ugh.
Yeah, how dare you make us
revision.
feel, Mitch? The metaphors
boys.
were there. Oh, it was beautiful.
Sorry.
That was lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This has been My Bad Poetry.
Now go write some of your own bad poetry.
Yeah, and so the title again, for those of you who want to buy it now that it's available to all, is The Size of the Horizon, or I Explained Everything to the Trees. Rhyme free doesn't matter.